So today our first lecture, and we will talk about scientific methods. So why do we talk about science in the biology course? So biology means science about living organism. This is our learning objective: science versus pseudoscience, deductive, inductive reasoning, hypothesis versus theories, independent and dependent variables, basic experimental design. First, we will talk about science versus pseudoscience. Science is a systematic method of acquiring information, and it's based on the idea that the natural world around us works according to the certain principle, and that we can discover those principles through the observations and experimentations. Overall, science helps us to discover truth about how everything works. Now we will talk about simplified steps of the experiment and scientific methods. So first we will start with observation. So this is number one, what's happening. So on the image you can see in here researcher, she look on the microscope and her monitor and here show what she is looking at the microscope. So she's looking on some kind of microorganism and it's very large in here, but in the same time we can see in here same looking microorganism, only small. So second, what happening is this observation can lead to the question. So scientists may be wondering why we have we're observing different size in here microorganism, and questions. Next step, questions form hypotheses. So in this case, she's thinking, oh, maybe I do not put nutrients in this solution in here, and maybe because of this, it's start to branching and separating and create this little kind of microorganism. Next step is hypothesis must be tested through experimentation. So next, the scientist now can make experiments different. So she can put in one solution a lot of nutrients and her microorganism will be like this, very big and large in here. In the other, she will put only half of the nutrients in the solution. Maybe will be now only one big and one small, this microorganism. And in the third, she will put solution absolutely non-nutrients, will be just clear water, and she will maybe observe that her microorganism now will be all breaking down on the several small one, and it will be until she will again put some nutrients. After this, every small one will grow and become large. So this is again, this is hypothesis that may be size related on the nutrients, and it's need to be tested in the different experiments. Next step will be analysis of the data. So she will be calculating exactly how much she put nutrients in each. This is different experiment, and she will calculate precise size of this microorganism, and she will analyze this data. Next, based on this data, she will draw conclusions. She will say, oh yes, I show that size of the microorganism depends on the amount of the nutrients in the solution. And next step will be number 7, which is typical for the scientific methods, is sharing the results. So because scientists want to find the truth about what's going on, yes, she wants to share her results with the other researchers which doing maybe research with similar microorganism or with similar analysis, some kind of. So she wants to have feedback from them, what their data show. Next, we will talk about pseudoscience. So pseudoscience is a claim, belief, or practice which is presented as a scientific and which does not comply with valid scientific methods, lacks supportive evidence, cannot be reliably tested, so this is very important, or otherwise lack scientific status. In many cases, for example, magic, ghost, the Loch Ness monster, it's easy to tell apart pseudoscience. But what about homeopathy, intelligent design, energy healing? So sometimes it's not very obvious to see it's true or not. It's a science or it's just pretended science, pseudoscience, fake science. So on the two images below, you can see in here one, it's invitation to the lecture, and it's about methods and practices of physics, psychic defense from hostile invader from another planet. Yes, so something like this. This is sounds like pseudoscience. Yes. On the other image in here, if the theory of the evolution were true, we have millions of the chimpanzee, we have millions of the humans. Yes. And whereas this is in between species, they asking. So this is one of the questions what asked people who do not believe in evolution, yes, who do not trust this, don't understand this. So, and during our course, we will talk about this later on in the course, and you will be able to answer on this question. So overall, if we compare science and pseudoscience, so science have willingness to change with new evidence. So it's never stop. So what true right now maybe will not be exactly true next time after 10 years or 5 years. So it's always changing what scientists thinking is correct. It's science have willingness to change. This is why they're sharing information. This is why they want to find the truth. Pseudoscience have very fixed ideas usually. So what they're thinking is true, and it's what they're thinking right now, what same they're thinking after 10 years and 100 years. This is all the same, it's not changing. Science have ruthless peer review. So peer review, it's mean when scientists in the same area review research data, what was, for example, submitted in the scientific magazine. Yes, so this is what typical for the science. So in order to be published, scientific results, discoveries, yes, this peer-reviewed journal need to review. So peer-reviewed journals they call, because it will be scientists from the same area, they will review this data and they will agree or disagree with publishing them. And pseudoscience have no peer review. Next, science takes account all new discoveries. So again, it's invite new discoveries. It's want to hear different new discoveries, and pseudoscience only select favorable discoveries which go together with the fixed idea. Science invite criticism. So it means scientists who did research, they want to hear feedback, they want to hear criticize from the other scientists. And pseudoscience sees criticism as conspiracy. Science have verifiable results. So what does this mean? So doesn't matter whether a scientist doing the experiment, exactly same experiment using same kind of methods, different could be done in different countries. Yes. And in the pseudoscience, it's usually not repeatable. If somebody produces some kind of data and then nobody can repeat it, so this is more pseudoscience than science. Science limit claims of usefulness. So it means that if they make some kind of extract, for example, from the plant, and then they, in the science, they apply this is to treat burns, for example, on the skin. Yes, and they will say, oh, in our case, we show in the experiment that if we treat with this extract from the plant, it's help to decrease time of the healing. Yes, So they only claim, in this case, one usefulness, only this specific extract only have one application to treat burns, yes? But pseudoscience, opposite, it's claim widespread usefulness. So they say, if you take this pill, you will be without your cardiac disease, you will not have, and your brain will work good, and overall your body, everything will be just perfect in your body. So this is what they say, widespread. But did they do this experiment? No, they don't. This is why they're using this like miracle pills kind of for everything. Then science have accurate measurement, yes? So in order to be published in this scientific journal, these scientists need to very carefully describe how they did this experiment, how much they use everything, yes? So it's very, everything very measure and very everything, how the procedure was done, very accurate. In the pseudoscience, it's the opposite. It's a ballpark measurements, how they say. So it doesn't have this is very accurate measurement. So why this is meta science, pseudoscience? Do we really care that some people claim that the pyramids were built by the aliens? Maybe not, but we should absolutely care with kids when kids catch preventable diseases, because their parents bought into this deception that vaccines cause autism. Schools do not do a very good job teaching students to recognize and understand good scientific research. Fortunately, it is not that difficult, but it does take one or two or more steps beyond just accepting what you read. How to identify pseudoscience? The very first thing to do is to check source of the claim. So you need to see, when you're reading something, in the end, usually they have some kind of references. And in the references, they will say, oh, where this was published originally, this research, yes? And if this, for example, news article, does its article give citation or references? And if they have this, did this citation from the reputable scientific journal? So you need to look what kind of journals and here they cite when they write this is new article. So if this is peer-reviewed scientific journal, it means it's science what they're writing about. So this is the main difference. So if you look on the journal and it's say usually that this journal is peer-reviewed or this is not peer-reviewed. So if you look and it's peer-reviewed, it means that this is experts which are qualified to evaluate this work in this particular area. So they evaluate this before they publish it in here. So peer review journals, this is the one main difference. Science will be published in the peer review journal. Peer review is pretty high standard, so it cannot always detect deliberate deception. For example, Andrew Wakerfield, the former physician who proudly claimed to have found a link between vaccines and autism, actually did get his study published in the prestigious scientific peer-reviewed journal, The Lancet, but the deception was subsequently uncovered, and the paper was retracted, and Wakerfield was his medical license was revoked. Deceptions that make it through the peer review can often be identified when other researchers try to replicate or build upon the result of the scientific publication work. So first, when this Andrew Wakerfield, when he first put his discovery and in the peer review, they in the Lancet, they first look on this and they trust him. It was look like interesting and trustful, and this is why he was published. But after this, after he published it, what happened? So the other scientist was very excited. Oh, we can get rid of the autism completely because it's just this is from vaccine. It's all. So they start to do a lot of experiments all around the world, and based on this, his ideas, and nobody was successful. Nobody, all around the world, nobody can to do anything similar even to this. So they cannot find any link. They cannot build their own new study based on this idea. It's all doesn't work. So after this, they come again to his lab and they start to look his journals, and they found that it's all was falsified research. So so this is very important. So you need to look where is published. So when you're reading the newspaper or something else, you need to look where is references, where is citation, and see in this citation what journal it is. Yes, and yes, maybe it will take 1 or 2 years, even it was falsified research, pseudoscience, but after few years, if it's not revoked, it means science, it's correct. Okay, so in here you can see quick guide to accepting this is authority. So trustful, how trustful these resources. So YouTube comments, not very trustful. Blogs, no. Popular blogs, no. Newspapers, no. Academic books, yes, such as textbook, yes, what you have for different courses, even they not a peer review. So peer review only when scientists in the area reviewing this, and it's only done in the academic journal, because I am biological and scientist, and I was working in the biomedical field, so I know one resource in this field. Yes, so if you go in here, so this is NCBI or PubMed. If you go to PubMed, you will see this is a library of the different biological, medical, in the medical field, biological field, and this is all peer review will be journal published in here. So this is one of the example where you can find. So if you're interested in something, for example, some of your relatives have some disease, and you want to know what is the current discoveries in this field, you can go in here in the PubMed and type these disorders, what you're interested in, and it will be some information, current research shown in here, and it will be peer-reviewed journals.